It is expected that Jude Bellingham, It is expected that Jude Bellingham joins Liverpool next summer. This video is being sponsored by our friends at Spitch, the best fantasy football manager game on the App Store, bar none. Why is it the best? You don't have to commit to an entire season. You can play individual game weeks if you want, choosing a brand new team every single weekend. Right now, there's a new season mode where you can win up to £50,000, and there's even a free season mode with prizes of up to £2,500. Seasons mode is based on 34 game weeks, and only your best 5 are counted at the end of the season. There are tons of stats and analytics available inside the app to help you choose your team and give you the best chance of winning. If the money and the gameplay wasn't enough to tempt you, how about Jurgen Klopp being an ambassador for Spitch this season? If it's good enough for Mr. Klopp, it's good enough for me. You must be 18 years or over to play. Use our link in the description below to download Spitch and win money with your football knowledge. Late last night, as always is the case when the newspaper stories of the next day come out, it started to be put around there what I've been telling you for a very long time. It started out in the Mail Sport, and they said that it is expected that Jude Bellingham. It is expected that Jude Bellingham joins Liverpool next summer, and of course everybody got really excited about it. And as you would, you're right to get excited about it. I didn't get excited about it because I've always known that that's going to happen. Now, has anything changed? No, not really. Other than it's now common knowledge. It's starting to become common knowledge that this is going to happen. He is not going to go anywhere else. His head will not be turned because this decision has already been in the works and is sorted out, and he will be a Liverpool player, just like I've said. Now, I don't know exactly when I first said this because I haven't got the spare time to go back through, and it was a phone call where I was told it, so I can't go back through and check messages for the exact date. I don't know when it was. I mean, we're all aboard the Choo Bellingham stuff for a long time, but I feel like it's at least 12 to 18 months since I initially said what I said. And as I said at the time, people are going to ridicule me and question me, and I accept that. Absolutely fine. You should challenge and accept, or challenge everything you're told. But all I ever asked for was one thing. Just one thing. When it happens, just give me the little bit of credit that I deserve. For once. That's all. And yet again last night, I was looking around the media. I was looking in the newspapers. I was looking on some sites that are reporting the story. Did we get an iota of a mention? Just even their name, Anfield? No. We don't, and we never will. But we know, you know and I know what was said. And that's good enough for me, because you're the only people that I ever want to convince, the community that are here with us. So, where's the proof? Well, what would you like me to say to prove it to you, Drippy MP3? What would you like to say? Would you like to throw my source under a bus? Would you like me to get that journalist sacked? Because that's what would happen most likely if I told you where it came from. So what proof can I give you other than it's now all over the place that he's going to join Liverpool? I don't know what else I can say. You know, I'm not going to lie and say I know the finite details of it. I do not. I've only said one thing consistently. When he leaves Dortmund, he'll be a Liverpool player. That's all I ever said. I never gave you a time scale because I didn't know. We thought it could be next summer. I still think it will be next summer. Could it be this summer? It would take a miracle, in my opinion. But I'm not on the inner workings of this deal. I've got no idea. I just know it was happening. And I've always known it was happening. And again, I don't really talk transfer stuff in definites because I don't get a lot of information. A couple of little bits and pieces over the years that I've said have happened. I told you guys about Fabio Carvalho. Before anybody else reported he was a target of Liverpool, I told you that he was going to be a Liverpool player. Canade, that was fairly public knowledge, to be fair, so that was no big deal. But this is the one that I'd really hoped and wanted the credit for, because I get bantered for a lot of stuff. I get bantered for being fat. I get bantered for having a shaved head. I get bantered for being a Liverpool fan. I get bantered for a lot of stuff. But I'm fine with that. If, when I'm proved right, you have the common decency to just come back and just tip your hat and say, fair enough, you are right. That's it. That's all I want. So yeah, there you go. And look, for those who want to know my source, I was told, as I've always said, by a journalist friend of mine, and it was a chance thing. Like, I was on a call with this person over something else back at the time, and it was just a chance conversation, and it came up that he will be a Liverpool player. He was told by somebody inside the camp that that's where his next destination was going to be, and it shocked this person as much as it shocked me that it was so blatant. But that's where we are. And look, that's why I've always been relaxed about it. I've always believed he was going to be a Liverpool player. So it's nothing new to me. I'm just, more than anything else, I'll be happy when it happens, not because I'll be proved right, but because I'm a Liverpool fan and I want the best for our football club. And him coming into the football club, in my opinion, is a great statement of intent, and it will be taking us in the right direction. So yeah, for me, that's the most important thing. It's not about who was right and who was wrong. It's about that we're going to improve. And that makes me happy as a Liverpool fan. Don't like it's getting spinned as a Keita replacement. Right, let's tackle that for a while, because I'm sure people will be coming in and we'll revisit a couple of topics. So look, you're right. Who was it said that? Jabba said, I don't like it being spun as a Naby thing. Look, the Naby Keita situation, I'm a little bit confused by right now. Do you think he has a right to be upset if he is feeling upset? Now, we have to take this with a pinch of salt, because the club have briefed that they've been rather surprised by these reports that Naby Keita is unhappy with the situation at Liverpool. But other people, and I'm trying to remember where this started from, but for the life of me, I can't remember who put it out there initially. I don't know what he really has to be upset over, but I also don't want to lose him for free. So for me, I'd rather we sell him in this window or give him a new deal, because I don't want to lose him for free. But I'm also being entirely honest here and saying, I don't know if he's earned an increase in his wages. I really don't feel that he's done enough for that. But to lose him for free at the end of the season when the club paid £54 million or whatever it was for him, that would be hard to swallow, especially if he kind of has a good patch in the season. And this usually happens with players because they're putting themselves in the shop window, for want of a better phrase. And it would be very difficult to take if Naby Keita left at the end of the season after going through a bit of a purple patch. So what do you think? Do you think he has a right to be annoyed? Because I had a chat in our Discord group about this and it was mixed, and I understood both sides' perspective. Some people felt like he's a little bit... He's a right to be annoyed that he's not getting starts ahead of Henderson and stuff when he's available. And other people feel like he just hasn't been able to be consistent enough in his performances and his availability for Liverpool. And it was probably true somewhere in the middle of those two. How can he be upset when he's the one getting injured and not playing because of that, which is so annoying because he showed so much promise, but I wouldn't be bothered to care if he left. The line that's coming out from the club, let me grab this up here. Right, so this comes from Fabrizio Romano, and it says that Liverpool will only consider selling Naby Keita if they receive a huge offer. And then there's a quote from Fabrizio that said, I think it is normal that Keita wants to play more regularly at Liverpool so far. Negotiations are not proceeding, but do remain ongoing. Jurgen Klopp plans to speak with Keita in the coming days to find a solution. This is where it comes a little bit tricky for me, because we can't afford to lose another body and not bring in another body. But when I start to read things like Sander Berg as a potential incoming for Liverpool, I find it a little bit contradictory to what we were told before about not bringing in stopgaps or not bringing in players that weren't in the long-term plans. Because I would argue, if Sander Berg was in the long-term plans, why didn't we sign him 18 months ago? Because we had the option. We were linked with him quite a bit as well when Chris Wilder was still at Sheffield United, I think. So I don't think Sander Berg is good enough to be a Liverpool player. I don't. Could he do a job in midfield in that holding role? He's a 6'4" big fella, maybe. But he's not an upgrade, not a serious upgrade. So that I find a little bit contradictory to what we've been fed. But then again, this is the media. It hasn't come directly from Jurgen Klopp or Julian Ward or any of the recruitment team's mouth. So you got to take it with a pinch of salt. What else we got? Who do you think the right players are? We need 2-3 midfielders by next summer. If Jude's the one, who's the other one or two? I don't see who's good enough, not available, but will be in the next window. So there's a couple of aspects to this window that make it a little bit more intriguing, I suppose, than a normal one. We have the World Cup coming up. The World Cup is going to be in November, so before the January window. So players that are moving, that are available for that World Cup for their countries, they may not want to move in this window if they aren't guaranteed playing time, or they may want to move because they want more game time. So it's a bit of an interesting window from that regard. But I do agree with you. There's absolutely players out there that can be gotten